What is up, guys? Welcome back to the SC Experience podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Savage, the coach at Savage Meanies. We are up and roaring for the back end of the season. The run home is officially here after Origin is done and dusted. New South Wales Blues get up the Blues. What a performance that was from the Blues. But we're now focusing back to the NRL and SuperCoach. I'm joined here by my host with the most, Grant McCartin, the coach of the Pretenders. What's going on?
Nothing much, mate. That was a really good week last week. I very much enjoyed the Blues winning. That was it was a bit of a surprise, actually, the way that we won. But in terms of SuperCoach, it's just good to have gotten through the Origin period and be in the run home. I'm really excited. I'm actually more excited this year than I have been in a few years, I think. I'm not even in that good of a position, but I don't know, it just seems like there's going to be some chaos yet to come.
There's some moving ground yet to be had within the back end of the season. One thing that came of last week, Teddy, he's out for 2 weeks following, and he's in my SuperCoach team. Holding him and actually being patient with my guns for once has not paid off.
What is going on?
I held Nathan Cleary throughout this whole period. I held Nicho Hynes even when he was injured throughout this whole period. I held Teddy through this whole period, and I guess you could say holding Nicho Hynes and not having to stress to get him back in has paid dividends over the weekend. But I've got to say, this year is a year where saving trades in certain places has helped and other places hasn't. But Origin, New South Wales Blues got up. I went to Brisbane, didn't get to the game. I went to the Cameron Munsters Hotel. Good vibe, but not after the game.
Oh, yeah? What, they...
Did you go to the Milton when you're up at Magic Round?
No, mate. I haven't made it that far yet.
It's a Laundy style pub.
Oh, okay.
I think so.
Yep.
I shouldn't talk shit about it. I like the Caxton and I like what the Caxton has to bring.
Yeah.
I think the Milton is very similar vibe to what we can get down here.
Yeah.
Caxton is very different.
And we don't have a Caxton down here.
Yeah, we don't.
Sure. Yeah, I get that.
But it was very good. It was like if you in New South Wales, you're so used to that sort of setup.
Sort of thing, yeah.
Where am I? It kind of reminds me of Establishment, actually.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I'm not the biggest Establishment fan. I like the venue, just not the biggest fan of the clientele.
That's fair. So SuperCoach, how'd you go?
I got 1388, which was might as well have been bang on par. I think I lost 60 spots, so that's pretty much par. Let me pull up my handy dandy history. 18,000 odd for the round, 6,400th overall. I still have 8 trades coming into this week though, so I got a lot of possibilities, and I'm pretty excited for that. I didn't get much wrong. I just didn't VC Nicho. I'll be brutally honest, and fair play to everyone for sort of the guys that got it. I just didn't see him as that big of an I don't know if people just were hoping he might have got 120 or something like that, and that was a good loopable score. But I saw Tommy playing in the sunshine on the Sunday, and I had Tamari Martin against a pretty weakish looking Tigers pack. I just thought I wasn't probably going to loop this week. I just didn't really see that many loop options, so missed that. But I had Hynes, so it wasn't that big of a deal. What really hurt me last week was I tossed and turned on holding Hosking instead of selling for Hudson Young. I then got to the point where I was like, well, Hudson's come off the bench. He'll still play 60 minutes. He
kind of did.
He'll get sick. Yeah. I
58.
Knew that he was carrying that knock from Origin, but there was no real information out there about it being anything more than just a knock. Subsequently come out that he heard something sort of pop or something in his ribs. So I don't know there's not an injury he's been named today. So, but yeah, I thought Hosking might play 50 minutes and get 50 odd, and Huddy might play 60 minutes and get 60 odd. And I wanted to have 2 trades this week. So I did that move, and it cost me 100 points. That's probably what hurt more than anything. I was never really looking at Hynes as a VC, so I can't complain about that.
It's the worst when that sort of stuff happens, when it's like you obviously were looking at something and you were going to pull the trigger. You can kind of cop the one like Hynes when you were never looking at it.
Yeah, absolutely. No complaints whatsoever.
But it's the Hudson Young. And
that Hudson Young one, yeah. Look, swings and roundabouts. This time of year, your team's so deep. You just I wasn't rushing to get Huddy in. It wasn't so much wanting him, needing him last week. It was just the fact that I really genuinely didn't see. I mean, the last lock to score a hat trick in the NRL, 2017. No, sorry, 2007. 2007.
I actually think I saw a random stats guy post this.
Yep,
There was
it was
about
rando.
6 in total.
Yeah,
in history.
and 5 of them happened in like a 10-year span, and then none since 2007. So for Hosco to do that, like, love him. He's been great for me throughout this period. Can't fault him. Can't really fault my theory, but it just sucks when when Captain Hindsight says, "Oh, that would have been nice," but yeah, I'm cool with it.
It's funny. I actually ended up getting in Hudson Young as well. I got him instead of Olukwatu, just mainly because I like him as a better option to Olukwatu if I have to go with one for the rest of the year.
Yep.
That being said, he's scored 60 points more than him this week, and I knew he'd score more points than him this week. Didn't think it'd be that much.
Yeah, hoping it was 20 or 30.
Yeah, 20 or 30.
Yep.
But then now looking at hindsight, Hudson Young also has a bye later in the year.
But
So
does Ola. Just in different times of year. So Ola's is 22. Manly's draw, I think, is tougher. Hudson's is probably tougher to cover, around 26 by a head-to-head final.
Yep.
But yeah, I think I'd say, with you, I'd try not to really.
I'm still all right with that.
I try not to really. I think you play. I think everyone in the community knows the way that you play is, sort of quite on one side of how you can play risk. I'd say on the more risky side, and it's worked for you for years, mate. So I don't think there's a reason for us to tell you not to do it. But I love Hudson anyway, so it's not that big of a deal to me. Like, he gets a day game this week. To be fair, so does Ola, but he gets a day game this week. An extra few days rest. Who knows? He could come out and drop a 120 odd this week, and you catch a lot of that back.
He's got 117 versus the Rabbitohs earlier in the year, so there's every chance he scores 40 more than Olukwatu this weekend. We've got the points back, so it's not too.
I like that Huddy's matched up on Dave Fafita.
I like it too.
Yeah.
I like it too. He was the one person I'm like, it was between him and Ola all week. I chose him just for the long term, but we don't really have a long term. Left really, so I was kind of kicking myself a little bit. But that being said, still happy with the decision at the moment. And we'll go into next week. I scored 1473.
Yeah, you had a good week. I saw that. Yep, looked good.
Went to 6,299. I got 6 trades left.
You're literally I had a look. You're 6 points difference between us.
Ridiculous.
How crazy is that? Considering how sort of all meandering our seasons have been, we haven't really been close all year.
It's kind
of
it's been weird.
Happened, yeah.
I think you've varied a lot more than I have.
I definitely have.
You've gone up and down heaps.
Yeah, I have.
I've been around that 10K all year, and now finally up to 6,299. And I think I'm going to play it this year. I'm going to try and make a late surge, and we'll talk about how that's going to go.
I will as well.
I feel like you've got a thought.
Yeah, I just wanted to to touch on my team. Like, I had 5 players go under 40 last week. Oh, sorry, 46, 40, including a 46 from Azarko. And for me to get 1388, get par, basically par, and have the Huddy Hosking issue, I feel like it's like a massive escape for me. Like, it's a really good week for me in a weird sense. But yeah, no, overall thoughts on the week. I wish it went a little bit different, but that's the swings and roundabouts SC, isn't it?
Some of my pods have done I wouldn't say pods, but just players that I have. And when you've got these players that are performing well, the combination of them becomes a pod, and what makes you go so well. So
that's how it works, right? Like, you can have, if you've got 5 70% owned players and someone else does as well, that's a lot of people who don't have those same 5. And you might not have the same 5 as that other person. I try not to anti-pod unless I think the guy is going to go poorly. I don't anti-pod for the sake of anti-podding, I think is always the message.
It's a massive combination of things. And I think this time of year, it's very, I wouldn't say important, but it shines a light on the fact that if you've got someone in your side who's a warm body, especially this time of year, like a Ryan Couchman, for example, who's averaging 66 or whatever, going up to someone who's averaging a 70 just for that 5 points extra per week, like, it's not going to hurt that much. You're better off having a combination of these good guys who a lot of people don't have to make up your total score.
I agree. And also keeping, I think, really important, keeping those guys who are probably further down your pecking order. Like, you're probably not going to play Ryan Couch for many weeks, but having him there, his price is probably fairly stable. He's had a couple of lower weeks the last couple, and maybe there's a case to be made there, but I'm not just selling him because he's had 2 slightly lower scores. Like, I think he's the type of guy who, if you look back on it in round 25 or 26, and you've got 2 other injuries in your forwards, and Catchman's still playing his minutes because he's not the guy who's going to get a rest this year. Like they're just happy to play him and roll out to round, right through to round 27 and then let him have a nice long off season. You got to be wary that you're not picking up guys who are going to get rested because they're in a really good side in round 27 or round 26, or they have the bye in the Raiders in it, or the Knights in both those rounds. Like Dylan Lucas and Hudson Young missed 26 and 27 between them. Cashman would be a great guy to put in that slot over those potentially. So there's always, you've always got to sell someone to get those big guys, but you just got to be wary this time of year of who that is, and you're not forcing it just because you got a new shiny toy who you want to get. Yeah, I think it's a good call out.
I'm definitely playing that sort of approach this back end of the year. 6 trades left, and
that's good for you at this point. I can't recall a year where you would have had 6 going into round 21 over the last year.
My rank's not terrible.
No, it's not
at
not
the
at
moment.
All. Yeah, not at all.
So it feels like it's been a shit fire. I've captained the wrong people a lot of weeks.
Yep.
But it's just like that one week that really pushes you up and makes you realize, oh shit, I've actually held on pretty good here.
Yeah, I reckon so. And I've just knowing different groups and stuff throughout the community, like there's a lot of people with 4 or less trades. Like those last 2, it might not seem like much more, but at this time of year in rounds, especially if you can hold them to 24, 25, 26, firstly, you got your head-to-head finals, which, if you're not in that running for first overall or top 1,000, you can still try and win head-to-head finals and push into the top 1,000. Like it's not mutual. This time of year is like the start of the year where head-to-head and overall players play similarly. It's only the middle part of the year where we play kind of differently. This time of year, I think it's about picking your matchups.
Pick the best
team. That's exactly right. I wanted to touch on the captains thing as well before we got right into the show. I had a look. I have not had a captain go over 73 for the last month. I VC'd Herbie in round 15. I think pretty much everyone on the planet did. That was when he got that 137 in the bye round.
And
someone went Azarko.
Yeah.
I did have a look at that. Since then, I've literally not had a captain. I've had 2 55s in Ponga and Herbie. I had a 70 and I can't remember who that was. Round 16, I had a 70, and on the weekend I had Tommy. So I don't know what I'm doing with captains.
74.
Oh, sorry, 74 is my top.
There you go.
I have had one player go over 73. It's just I just can't seem to nail it captains wise, but hopefully it means I'm due.
It just proves that once you nail your captain, because I finally nailed it over the weekend with the VC of Hines. Yep. Once you nail it, like if you just nail it most weeks, then you're going to do all right.
Of course, mate. If you just nail your captain every week.
No, well, you got to know.
And if you've got the lotto numbers while you're at it, that'd be great if you could send them this way.
It's fair. So I'll go over my side. Lucas, 100. I think I wasn't looking at him a couple of weeks ago. Looked at his few scores. Mikey gave me a call leading up to that week. I've got to give credit to Mikey. Nice. And Mikey listens every week because he does night shift most
Shout
weeks.
Shout out, Mikey.
He'll be listening to this, and we convinced each other Lucas probably is a buy. So I'm glad we both pulled the trigger on that.
I'm glad you did.
Colin Matangi, he also convinced me on that one. 85 points, and he looks great. Tamari Martin actually turning into probably my first 5'8".
Yeah, he's easily my first 5'8".
Yeah.
And that's pretty
I've got
stiff.
Fletch Sharp in my side as well. So
So
it's a pretty hot list at the moment. Talis Duncan, 104. Nico Hines, 196. Jacob Lehman doing a job for me, 91 points. And I think he's someone who I think is going to explode this back end of the season. He's performed well. He has no reason for me to leave him out at the moment. Owen Paddy, I want to talk about him. We talked about this 2 weeks ago. I didn't think it'd play out like this. We predicted the minutes. We saw the trend. 60 minutes, Tom Starling comes on for the last 20. But he scored more points last week than Brandon Smith has in the 2 weeks.
Yep.
So we've actually come out on top in the rounds where we would have played either of these guys.
Yeah, no, I think we spoke about it and I probably jumped the gun a little bit, but it's sort of already come into fruition. Like 2 weeks ago when I talked about how good he is at things like 40-20s and stuff like that. And I think the thing that people miss with something like a 40-20, right? And I know it's SuperCoach and not so much NRL, but I like to touch on the NRL side of it a bit when we can. I think that'll really help the Raiders. Like if you've got a guy who's that good at 40-20s from dummy half, your winger on the opposite side of the field has to be aware of that and sit back. And I think it can help the Raiders like to throw the footy around a little bit. If you can then shift out and that winger's back behind the play, like, I think Ricky Stewart's smart enough to make use of things like that. And when a guy has unique skills that not other people can't really replicate, you want him on the field as much as possible. So his minutes are also trending up he played 62 on the weekend. So I don't think he's going to get an 80-minute role. I do think
No.
it's good that they get Starling out there. I don't, he's still a kid, but geez, he's good. He's really good.
He's very good. Those 40-20s didn't have much room to work with. Dare I say, by the end of the year, he'll probably have, not the end of the year, sorry, the end of his career, he'll probably kick the most 40-20s definitely as a hooker.
Oh, for a hooker, for sure.
Depending on how many games compared to Cameron Smith he gets. So Cameron Smith kicked a few.
Well, the best I've seen, I reckon, not from hooker, the best would be Daly Cherry Evans. And I saw a stat, he kicked one about every 9 games in his career. And we all know positional-wise, Daly Cherry Evans, when he plays 80 minutes, basically, outside of injury. Currently, Owen Paddy is kicking one every one every 80, every 240 minutes. So one every 3 games equivalent in his career. He's kicked 5 already.
Kicked two in 55 minutes on the weekend.
He's something else.
Yeah, he's and it's great. We never talk about 40-20s being an asset.
Well, it's an asset in SuperCoach because they're worth 10 points each. It's a lot of points.
So if you don't know,
and 20-40 is the same.
It's worth 10 points. 20-40 is the same. 2-point field goals, 10 points. So these stats really add up.
They do when someone like him is intentional with it. Like I reckon he has 2 or 3 kicks cracks out of a week nearly.
Yeah, and it'll put side on the back foot. It'll make him sit back a bit, and the fact that forward pack's back and he's playing off the back of that, I think the Raiders could be in for a good.
Yeah, I think that, and also just a lot of good vibes out of them. Like I think Ricky Stewart's has been quite good with how he's handled the Tamale situation. All the players are like kind of bought in. Strange and Hudson have made it through. Well, let's hope Hudson, it seems that he's not injured. But, they've kind of got most hands on deck. They're primed, I think, for a push here, and they don't have the hardest draw. Like, it's not easy, but it's not the hardest draw, that's for sure.
It's one of the better draws.
Yeah, I think so.
I looked at it this morning, and it was on a website where this was done before a ball was being kicked. So it would have been the best draw. It was based off last year. This year, not so much. But that being said, I think they're still in a position where they don't really have much pressure on them. They got a young halfback, and would you buy him? $390K, negative break even.
Which one?
Paddy. It's a bit of a tough one now, isn't it?
No, I wouldn't, because there's other good downgrade options. And if you're selling someone, who are you selling? I'm not selling Brandon Smith. What's the point? He's your backup hooker. I'm not selling Pascoe now because he's playing good footy again and seems to be maybe getting maybe Hane's just trying to balance out some weeks where he gets a little bit less and Verrills plays a bit more and gets 80. So yeah, he would be a buy in any normal situation, but I don't see it. I don't see why you would.
I like the fact that I got him, though, and I got some cash out of the downgrade from Pascoe.
Yeah, that was big. What was it, 180? Complain. Did we get 180 out of it?
Something
maybe?
like that.
Yeah, nice.
So,
happy with that.
Huge there. So, yeah, that's the recap from round 19. It
was a big round.
Any big takeaways from that one? Nico Hines, obviously 196. Massive performance, 11 goals. He's a bad man.
He is.
He's not hurt anyone, but just on the dance floor,
You're a goose.
Did you see that meme?
I did see it. Yeah,
Timmy's been trying to push it, and it's all in my algorithms now. And fuck, it's funny.
Well, what was it? 150 points in the second half. Like that's
he was on 39 at halftime.
Big half, like 100. Yeah, nearly 160.
You know what's funny? He was on 39. I activated the loop then because I'm like, he might get he'll get to 80. I feel like that's a loopable score this week. Because I
didn't loop 107 from tomorrow.
Yeah, well,
that was only because I didn't want to drop anyone. My team's too deep.
Would you loop 107 this week?
I don't have anyone to drop again this week, and I've seen in the team list. I don't want to jump ahead, but Ethan Bloody Roberts has been named on the bench for the Tigers.
Oh.
So no, I probably wouldn't. And also, I may have a sneaky little play at the back end of the show for everyone. So let's save it for that.
So do you want to touch on the run home? Do you want to get into the teams I think are good on the run home first?
Let's go through this fantastic run sheet you've dished up.
It's a good run sheet.
Not stapled, just randomly on full A4 sizes, which wasn't needed for like 3/4 of the pages. It's good, mate.
There's like 7 pages here with only 1 page worth of
And this is not how our normal run sheet looks like, because Savage doesn't normally do a run sheet. Half the time he just makes us have a wild stab in the dark at where he thinks he's going to take us. It is nice to have one, but yeah, next time at least a staple. That's all I ask.
Oh, I've got staplers upstairs, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw each page around as soon as I finish
That's
it.
true.
So I like the Dolphins for the
Yep.
run home. Their draw is the Cowboys, St. George, Broncos, Manly, Parramatta, the Roosters, and Gold Coast. It's pretty good. What are your thoughts on the bottom sides at the moment? I'm thinking if you don't have the Tigers, it's not really a good draw because you look at Parramatta, you look at the Raiders, you look at St. George, they're all kind of improving. The Titans,
I think that these
I think the
teams,
Tigers are the ones on the way down.
they looked the worst on the weekend in terms of like the Warriors looked like they could have put 1,000 on them. But I think you've got to work. I think it's just going to be week by week. All those teams are capable of capitulating, and once they capitulate once at the back end of the year, it tends to be that's how it keeps going. The weather starts to get a bit warmer, and players clock off. They're halfway to Bali, so it is hard to tell. But I do think in this particular draw, St. George could fall over any week, even though I'm repping our stuff because 2 weeks ago I wore this and the hat, and the double up apparently worked because we're 2-0 since then. One of them was the bye, but
You lost to the bye earlier in the year, so
yeah, well, it wouldn't shock me if we were lucky to win against them at all this year. But yeah, Saints, Broncos, they could be mathematically out of the 8 by then, and they've got play there. Who knows what the hell's happening there?
we saw them in 19. Absolutely, when they were out,
Yep.
they just they had talent.
And
there,
Madge
but they
is the
just
type of
switched
guy
off.
where once his team's out of the 8, like, do his players really want to play? Like, Payne Haas is it? Or I reckon Payne would never ever like bludge it, but his mind might be on just making sure he's healthy for next year, where he can actually make the 8. Manly, they're just falling off a bit. Like, their defense was really good for a bit, but I don't know where they're at right now. They're capable of giving up a score, and Para and the Titans in particular could both be well and truly done by then. Titans have been pretty good this year. Like, all of those teams have been decent enough defensively, but they're all blowout options. And I think what we got to look for this week and next week is where blowout options might be coming up until we start to see them happening, and then you might be able to start to work it out.
I nearly should have started with the topic after that, but we'll roll into
That's
that
okay.
before we go teamless.
In terms of Dolphins, I've got Herbie.
We've probably got all the
Herbie and Azarko. I'm not buying more. I've still got Finney in my back row, and I'm fine with all 3 of them at the moment.
I think if you have 2, you probably don't want to go third either.
Yeah. Well, if you've got
you've got
you've got Bostock, I'm not saying like definitely sell them, but I do think that's a lot of them without Katoa. That's what the killer is at the moment.
Yeah,
if they had
for
him,
sure.
I would say yes, please.
Yep. The Penrith Panthers have the Broncos, Parramatta, Canberra, Warriors, Roosters, Melbourne, Dogs, Tigers. They have 2 top 8 teams in their final 8 games. They've fallen off in the last couple of weeks, given they had a win last week. They've been affected by Origin, so it's completely understandable. But they'll be wanting to be primed for the back end of the season. There will be a game in that back end, dare I say, maybe Melbourne round 25. If they have to travel to Melbourne, I'm not sure if that's here or in Melbourne, where they rest.
Yeah, they could stagger as well over the last 2 weeks or whatever. But to be brutally honest, I think they'll just look at that Tigers game in 27. They'll have the minor premiership wrapped up, I believe, by then. I'd be shocked if they didn't. And I think they will just mass rest.
They rested the Bulldogs last year in coinciding games, game 26.
26. And they did, and I've noticed that they might do that. And some teams are starting to like have that rest and then want to play a game, like go into it. But I don't know. I think Penrith are such a mature side. I think that Tigers game might not even be a hit out for them if they did play. Like, it might genuinely be going through the motions and trying to wrap themselves in cotton wool. Is that worth it? If they had a better opponent in 27, and this is only based off what I saw on the weekend, because the Tigers have been okay decent enough for a while now. I don't know, man. I'd be circling that if I was Ivan and just going, not even going to bother risking my players in that.
A very good draw. So obviously,
Really good draw. And just a really good side. They're just really good. I'm happy to own at least 2 of their back line if you want to double up there. No dramas. Plus Nath.
The one, Tom Jenkins?
100% Tom Jenkins.
Do you have him in your side?
100%. I've had him for a while.
He's not in my side.
Yeah, if I was looking for a centre wing, he after Herbie, he'd be top of the pops.
Yep.
And I don't think it's that close to like guys like Nwanganita and stuff, or Tallis, and I think he's a tier above them.
I'm looking at Nwangani-Tuase.
Yep.
I don't think Nwangani-Tuase is bye for the back end of the year.
I think the Roosters will click, to be honest, and I think he'll score plenty of attacking stats, but I don't think he's going to be the guy that gets a multiple 150s.
Yep.
He's a 100 candidate every week though. Like he's just really, really solid. Like he got 60 odd on the weekend and had that mad try assist disallowed. He was a bee's dick from another 90 in a game where they had no Teddy. It's just, I don't know. He's always got scores in him, I think. But yeah, I've got a couple other guys in mind. I'll talk to him later.
Yes. The Sharks, Newcastle, Manly, South Sydney, Dragons, Canberra, Gold Coast, Parramatta, Melbourne. They only play one top 8 side in this back end of the season, and it is the Newcastle Knights this week who are at home. They've got a really good run.
Are Souths in the 8 now? Souths are in the 8.
Souths are in the 8.
Yep.
Apologies.
They're not the best,
I look at the Souths as
but they're also not the best defensive side.
Exactly.
And that's what you got to look at. Like I actually think there has been a pretty clear sort of standout 5 defensive teams, and everyone after that is the middle tier is still very playable, and then the bottom tier is chaos. But I think really it's more of it's a not now for me for the Sharks guys. I don't think you have to rush them in until after that Souths game. They played 2 of their even Manly. As again, not in the 8 and probably slipping a bit, but they're playing at 4 Pines and they've been a decent defensive side most of this period. They play their 3 best defensive sides in the next 3, and then they play 5 that'll be wide open games coinciding with the start of head-to-head finals.
Kailero, 600K
great
at
price.
the moment.
Yep.
I think he's the big target.
Yep.
Obviously, if you don't have Nico Hines.
Britain Nicola as well. In the forwards.
I know you've been keen on.
Yeah,
Nicola.
I'm not as much now, but it's not for his fault. It's because there's some other guys that have popped up in a similar price bracket. But I think if you're looking at something we talked before about Ryan Couchman as being a hold, the only time I would sell is exactly what we did with Pascoe, where we went, well, Pascoe's good, and I don't want to sell him, but if I can get Paddy and pull out 180K, I'm open to it. And if you look at Ryan Couchman, he's basically 190K more than Nicola right now.
450K negative 17 break even.
So if you're going to get him, this is the week. And then after that, I would say he's not a buy. The only reason he is a buy, his last 2 base powers were 60 and 70. And generally when his base power is around that 60 mark, he does get attacked from time to time, but that's what you need from him. But I'd much rather get Kailero and Nico Hines.
Do you think him coming out of Origin will really spark him?
I don't know. His 2 best games of the year, or 2 of his 3 best games of the year, have been his last 2 in terms of base power and involvement. So, I'm not going by any means suggesting rush out there and get Nicola. I would rather go Couchman to Nicola than Couchman to a 4. If it's your 3rd or 4th nuff, you don't need to be getting that many nuffs when you can just pull bits of cash here and there. That's my theory anyway.
I like it. They're the only sides that I have at the moment who I thought had the best 3.
Yep.
Looking at some others, I think the Roosters have a pretty tricky draw.
Yeah,
So
they
someone
do.
like Nwangani-Tuase I actually don't like as much. They play Melbourne this week, Newcastle, the Cowboys, who are all mathematically in, the Dogs, Penrith, Tigers, Dolphins, and the Rabbitohs. So there's some good matchups in there, but still not as juicy as some of these guys who don't even play a top 8 side.
No, I agree with that. I agree on the matchups. You just have to factor in the quality of attack and the quality of like the SuperCoach pedigree added into the opponents. Not everything's just are they versing a weak side, although it certainly helps.
Well, I think it is because when we go into this with the ceilings, 140 plus scores is what I've dissected.
Yeah, we've done this we did this in preseason. We did it. I think we went through this maybe midway through the Origin period or early Origin period. So it's good. It's good to get this back up again.
Yeah, we kind of have a little look at it.
We've looked at the exactly what you got here, the average per round, and that's an important number, I think.
Yeah. So last year, from rounds 1 to 19, there was 16 140 plus scores. Post round 20, there was 15. So it went from 0.84 140 plus scores round to 1.88 at the back end of the season. So that really highlights that this back end of the season is crucial for higher ceiling games. Last year, there was 12 of those in fullback, 10 of those in centre wing. There was 4 at 5'8", 2 at halfback, and then 1 in hooker, 2 RF, and centre wing.
Yep.
I went back to 2021 because I feel like 2021 is very similar to how this year
You feel
been.
that 2021's as high? You feel this is nearly as high scoring? 2021?
No.
But
But
just
because of the openness of the
just
game
the
and the
openness, okay.
high scoring
Yep.
nature, in that year, I didn't really get much from that. Actually, no, scratch that. Sorry, but I'm looking at this year.
That's great listening for the listeners.
Sorry, I'm looking at this year, and there's been 5 scores from fullbacks, 140 plus, 8 from centre wings.
Yep.
So there's an obvious trend that the fullbacks aren't scoring as much, and the centre wings are absolutely killing it. There's been 5 from halfbacks, which 4 of those 5 have been Nathan Cleary or Nicho Hynes. So I think that just pretty much testifies to they're there for you in the back end of the season. But the centre wings was really surprising. We have 5 from fullbacks, which is Tedesco, Kinney, Fa'alongo, and Dylan Edwards. There's also another one there somewhere. Looking at this, I think this comes down to the stats scoring system and the fact that the centre wings, especially the wingers.
I was going to say, if you take out the 2 from Latrell, all the other 6 in centre wing were scored by wingers. Mind you, I think the centres are scoring better this year across the board because of the way try assists are ruled. So that's not to say that they can't. There will be a centre or 2 that gets a really big score, but
Herbie's a good example, which he's not on the list.
No, he's not, but it wouldn't shock me if he was by the end of the year, especially if Katoa comes back when they start to get that soft finish to the year. But I think it's more, well, for me, it's more the fact that teams are just defending so many sets in a row that when they eventually get those spreads happening, they're just out on their feet and they're catching them really, really wide of, right in the corner. They're just out there. So I don't think, outside of Alex Johnston's whole career, and I love the bloke, that I've ever seen so many untouched finishes in a corner this year. There's blokes are scoring 2 or 3 on one wing in a game untouched, let alone then in their chances in the air and stuff. It's crazy.
And it's funny because once they get to one edge, they
go
just pepper
straight the other
They
edge.
just pepper.
Yeah,
they just absolutely.
Yep.
The other edge will get
once they break them. Then they kind of go, okay, we'll go back to that. Teams have been doing that this year, right?
And when you think about it, you look at the Penrith Panthers and Milky Jenkins. It's their exact game plan. They tire out the middle, and then the amount of times Milky Jenkins has gone over. It's actually funny. I'm pretty sure this time last year, I said to the camera, I said, "Don't you hate how people call people nicknames that they don't speak to them in real life?"
Yeah.
Everyone's calling him Milky Jenkins now.
Yeah.
That was mainly because Mikey called him Milky.
Yeah.
And I was like, I fucking hated that.
And now you're calling him Milky. You can apologise to Mikey.
Yeah,
you've thanked him and apologised to him on the same pod.
Yeah, sorry, Mikey. So the overall trends, 44% of the 140 plus scores are going to centre wing. So who in the top of your mind comes to mind? Obviously, we've talked about Jenkins. Nwangani Tuase still feels like he's at the top of the list for me.
Yeah, I can still. I mean, it's just, you're right in what you said before, right? When you verse good opposition, it just might cap the amount of times that he can get that bigger score. But I reckon he'll have a 140. He'll be on that list by the end of the year. He'll have one in him, I think.
I also have the try scoring list, so we can go over how many tries teams have conceded. Yep. The Dragons have conceded 19 tries to left wingers, which is the most in the comp.
We sure have. Shout out Greg Marzu.
Yes, in any competition. The Bulldogs and the Cowboys have conceded 18 to left wingers. So who are the Cowboys playing this week? Who are the Bulldogs playing this week? The Dogs are playing the Tigers. You don't want to target any Tigers players for the back end of the year.
No, not.
The Cowboys are actually playing the Dolphins.
Yes.
So Tavita Nafahu is a good option.
Did you see he got like 60 in base power on the weekend?
He is a weapon. He is a SuperCoach weapon.
Good, eh?
Where else have we got? We got the Dragons concede 15 to right wingers. The left wing is obviously where it's at. That's where the bulk of the tries have been scoring.
It's just the way that teams attack, right?
Yeah.
It's the seems it's been that way for years in the NRL.
Eels concede a lot to their left edge, 15 and 12 to their left edge. Their Melbourne Storm concede 14 tries to right edge back rowers. So the Storm are playing. Who are they playing this week?
Roosters.
Su Wong. Oh, I left him out of my side this week, so he is straight back in there. So yeah, that's just a snapshot.
No, there's some good numbers in there. You look at that Storm right edge. Geez, they concede some tries down there, don't they?
Oh yeah.
Sorry, their left edge. Shout out Nick Meaney because he literally can't defend. Yeah, I'm interested in this every week because it helps you for your sort of, especially once your center wings is like stacked. It helps a bit. I just wanted to point out something in here, and it's because I can only see a couple of them on the sheet.
Yep.
The Warriors haven't conceded a try to hookers this year at all. It's one of the zeros, and the Panthers haven't conceded a try to a 5/8 in 19 rounds, and that is outrageous.
That is outrageous.
There isn't another team with less than like 3 tries to 5/8. So that's pretty cool. These are good. What's the thing that you get it from? What's the
Tryline? Tryline.
Shout out Tryline.
They got an app as well. So
we don't have an affiliation there, but just shout them out because that is a really good
tool.
A really good tool, I think, for SuperCoach. Yeah.
Yeah, and they've got it for every game, so that they get the matchups and it matches up alongside.
And you can also see not just where teams concede, but where the team scores. So you can actually match up which teams like to attack what spots and see if there's a real hot spot there.
Yeah. So say there's a team that has had a lot of changes in their right center or whatever, but they still scored a lot of tries there. That's always handy.
Yep.
All right, let's go team list.
Yep.
Casey McLean returns, which Tim will be absolutely stoked over because he's held him throughout this whole period. IPAP returns and all the Origin stars in Liam Martin, Isaiah Yeo, and Brian lol jokes. He didn't play Origin, so he's not there.
Didn't you use that joke last time?
Yeah, we did. I actually did a TikTok about it too. For the Broncos, Adam Reynolds, Ezra Mam returned. Payne Haas, Willison, Carrigan also returned. They're pretty much a full strength as well. So
they are, and it was nice to see Willison named at prop. I was pretty sure it was where he was going to get named.
He is named there, but there's no Corey Jensen. So
he's not going to.
If they're full strength, then he would be there.
Maybe, but I reckon Willison's probably played him onto the bench.
Willison's going to be there next year.
Yeah. Sorry, that's not true. They may start Jensen because they might like to bring a guy like Willison off the bench,
correct.
but he would probably still play pretty good minutes.
Yep.
Just wanted to point out that by my math, like if the Broncos lose this, they are very close to. I wouldn't say they're not mathematically out, but to the teams above them have nicer draws. Like the Cowboys are like 3 wins ahead of them, or 3.
Their draw is awful,
and the Cowboys still have a bye and a very soft run. Like the Broncos are a long, long way from the 8.
The Cowboys is another one which I love their draw.
So do I. Just as long as you can
back 4,
just as long as you can juggle around their buys. But yeah, head-to-head finals really nice. Really like it.
I like it. For the Broncos.
On that topic,
typically 32 points get you into the 8.
Yeah.
Most years. Might be a little bit different this year. If they win 8 from 8, they'll be on 32 points. So
it's a lot.
It's a lot.
They need a lot of luck, put it that way. I just wanted to shout out on the Cowboys on that topic because they do have the soft draw. 100% would be interested in both Murray Talangi and Braden Burns. Probably even Tom Chester. I'm not saying I would get all of them, but picking one of them. Braden Burns probably a little expensive now, but he's flying.
Yep.
He would be a mad pod. Murray Talangi, when Dearden was playing, was averaging 73. So up until Dearden's injury, averaging 73. He's at like mid-5s, I want to say.
Who?
Murray Talangi.
Oh, I've just got Braden Burns up.
He's like 730 something, yeah.
Yeah, Jesus.
Too expensive. He's been flying though. Have a look.
113, 96, 56, 113.
Yep. No, he's flying. He actually has really good base power as well, and Drinky loves to go to that right edge. So
loves that right edge.
And then with Dearden back, I think Murray Talangi could be the budget. The budget option to Burns, but I wouldn't be opposed to a little Tom Chester play either. I think he had a bit of a lull during the middle of the year where the Cowboys probably did as well, and he also averaged nearly 70 before Dearden's injury. Now I know that maybe he's not the right buy this time of year, but when you're looking at CTW 5, 6, and if you're one of those people who's short on cash, don't be afraid to look at the Cowboys outside backs as if you're that keen on the Sharkies. Cowboys are pretty good too.
Let me just get it back up because I do want to read out their draw. I feel like I did miss them because I've been eyeing them off quite a bit.
Yep.
So they've got the Dolphins, Broncos, and the Roosters in the next 3. The last 4, they've got the Gold Coast, Parramatta, bye, and then the Tigers, Canberra. So, and they only leave Queensland once. They have a game at Suncorp as well, which is this week. So they've got a really good back end of the year. So
absolutely,
I really like Scott Drinkwater.
Oh yeah, Drinky. Yeah, I mean, I think that one kind of goes without saying. As in, when you want to, you got to play roulette at some point this year because you got to be. Most people got to be close to what I would call a final team, but not your actual final team. Just a team that you're happy to run with week to week. If you didn't want to make trades, you couldn't. Or sorry, you don't have to. But yeah, Drinky intrigues me for sure. But I would if he Jake Clifford kicks shit again on the weekend. If Drinky goal kicks, I'll rush that man in. I reckon as soon as he goal kicks, because as much as the draw does get better in round 23 with the Titans, they do play the Broncos in 21, and they've got the Dolphins this week. But I wouldn't bring him in this week. Just wait and see. But if he takes the goal kicking, and the Broncos lose this week, I would have no issue jumping straight into Drinkwater next week.
Yeah,
in a pod move off, say maybe off Tommy after he plays the Titans and then goes into they got the bye in round 22, but their draw starts to really toughen up a little bit, Manly. So yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all. Moving on to the Newcastle Knights versus the Sharks. The Knights is actually one who, I thought Ponga was going to shit in my side for the back end of the year, but their draw for the back end's pretty average. So they got the Sharks, the Roosters, and the Broncos in the next 3, and then after that they've got Canberra, Gold Coast, Manly, Warriors. So they've got a couple of good matchups.
I like the middle bit there until they then go Warriors and bye to finish.
23, 24, 25, and then bye in the last round. So
which hurts a bit.
It's probably not enough good matchups to really want to lock someone in right now.
I'll tell you what though, he scored early on and it got disallowed. They had 3 disallowed, or they bombed 1 and 2 disallowed early. He gets 150 plus with that. The first one,
defensively are terrible.
Totally agree, but just wanted that number, that 150 from him, I reckon would have made you go, shit, I need him. I need him, you know what I mean? So just sometimes it's good when you watch those games and you see things like that and go, geez, he could have got 150 because backing up from Origin.
And that's the time I usually like.
You do, you're good with that.
I'm usually like, yeah.
So look, I'm not saying I'm not saying go out and rush Ponga in. By any stretch, but just something to consider was he was literally he did score. He sliced straight through, and it was an obstruction. And to be honest, they didn't need. It was one of those ones where they didn't really need the obstruction. Like he was probably going to score anyway. So it was close to a big score.
Coming out against a hot Shark side this week, so it is a tricky week to look at it. Probably sitting Fletcher Sharp in my side, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm sitting as of right now. Both Marzu and Young.
Yep.
So
very fair.
Yeah. Yep.
Nicker is back and Bradman Burst returns to the side, which means Fletcher Sharp back to number 6.
Best is big for Marzu.
Yep.
Marzu owners. So don't be afraid, Marzu owners, although between Ponga, Best and Mars now having a corked ass, I don't know when they're next all going to actually make it through a full game together and hang out there, but they do. There's loads of numbers on it. Loads of career numbers. It's like 30-something games together, and they all average like more together than they do apart. So hold on.
The Roosters take on the Storm on Friday night, and Tedesco remains on the sideline. Not much else doing there. And Cameron Munster is out for 46 weeks. Tyron Wishart.
Yes, big fan. Toya.
He's also in the extended,
And I think that's either a staggered rest because they kind of had to play him last week with a couple of guys missing out, with Walker and Teddy missing. Maybe they wanted him. But Savala and Smith have been going really well as well. I'm saying it's a staggered rest, but I don't think it's a form dropping or anything. So he should be back. Some people may own him at the moment. I doubt it would be many. Wishart, love him. And I've got a bit of a sneaky play there. Now, everyone's probably got 2 5/8. If you don't, great downgrade option, or great, pick up for if you've somehow still had to hold Daniel Atkinson or something like that. Awesome. Love it. I've also looked at potentially, and I probably won't do it, but bringing him in my flex this week for one of my fullbacks. Reason being, having him. So I've got Jaden Campbell and Tamario Martin, which I think you do as well. Is that you got?
Not
both?
Jaden
No, you got
Campbell.
Fletcher Sharp, right? Yep. I've got Hines and Cleary stuck at 7, so I can only VC and see one of them each week. Tyron Wishart with the duels with Campbell and stuff as well gives me some flexibility to have him at backup 7, and bring Hines and Cleary into both being VC and captain options. Now, it doesn't have to be this week, but this week would be ideal. Just a thought I've had. I don't really want to sell Farlongo, Ponga, or Turbo, say, this week, but that would be a sneaky little play to ensure that you can have both Hines and Cleary in your VC and C.
I like it because we look at the fullbacks. Which fullback's killing it? Not really many, and you don't really need 3. Like two is enough
right
the
now.
The halfback's a gun, and if you can utilize that could help later in the season.
The only thing stopping me is if I was going to sell one right now, it would probably be Turbo, and I just don't want to sell him before the Titans in an Arvo game.
My issue with that is Tyron Wishart. Munster could be 6 weeks.
Yep.
Should be back by the end of the year.
Yep.
If they're mathematically a chance, and he's coming off the bench in the back end of the year, and you've got a Knights bye in the last round.
Yep.
You got a Fletcher Sharp there.
Yep. No, I wouldn't be selling Sharp, JC, or Tamario Martin. It would have to be I'd have to do it a different way. I do own both those, I won't be selling either of my 5/8s. Yep. But as I said, there are avenues to him. I don't think he's anywhere near a must or anything like that. Just a really nice downgrade.
No Jerome Hughes this week as well, which is a big blow for the
ongoing hamstring tightness. I read. Not sure what the hell that means, but geez, I tell you what, I get another team that if they lose this week and the Cowboys win, they're getting a long way out.
And Manly.
Yeah, and Manly as well. Yep. It's that back end of that 8 is just pulling away slowly. So yeah, it's tough.
Ethan Strange and Huddy Young return. We've also got Zach Hosking still at number 13. On Paddy starts. We've got the Rabbitohs. AJ returns. Dane Jennings is gone. Matt Duffy still at fullback, which is a good selection, I guess.
Mm.
Could be just tactical. Who knows? Cody Walker returns as well. So I'm looking at this one. I'm looking at Ethan Strange a little bit. Like
I
feel like I don't need to do something like this, but I don't know. I just like the look of him. 476K.
Do you reckon it's maybe because I've looked at him? So I literally have him up on my phone screen right now. He's got a break even in the 80s, so there's no rush either. But it's just the way he finished last year, and I've just got a feeling. I look at obviously the Raiders are nowhere near playing the footy they were, but he's just been moved back to that left edge where he played his good footy last year, where he looked really good in Origin 1.
Yep,
he's had a low minutes game backing up from Origin, so his first sort of because they backed up all the way through Origin. I just I want him, but I don't have a way to get him in right now. But I've got no issue for those that are keen on Wishart but maybe aren't certain on it. If they just sit a week, let him play an 80-minute game, have one more look at him. If you were to go your Atkinson or whatever your other, if you still got a Luai or a Walker, you could go them to Strange next week.
I like him, and he scored 142 versus the Rabbitohs last year. They play the Tigers next week. They also they play Penrith the week after, but he averages over 100 versus the Panthers in 2 games.
Yeah.
So, I'm not. They got a pretty good draw on the run home. Newcastle, Sharks, Broncos.
It's just the 26 bye that hurts because everyone wants. If you're out of the contention of overall by round 27, you don't hate if you run with 15 in the last round, you kind of go, well, what was I kind of ran my race trying to win head-to-head finals or whatever. But the 26 one, especially if teams, as you mentioned, like Penrith rest, that's tough. It's tough to cover. So
very tough.
I love him. Do have one for you in that game. I'm looking very heavily at Alex Johnson. Very, very heavily. He's been a really nice CT dub this year.
He has been this year.
Averaging 78.
And we just said what the tactic was. A lot of tries to wingers, especially when Latrell's back. I would be more interested. How far away is he? He's like 2 weeks away, isn't he?
I heard that he
Around
was
21.
He was going to aim for next week.
Yep.
That was the aim. But in saying that, and this is for me where it probably piqued my interest. When Latrell went down, he was still average. He was only averaging like 83. 80s, like in the mid 80s. So yes, he did have a 28 against Manly, and he's been playing with a PCL injury, but he still had a big 124 in that period. And I don't think you have to play him every week. I don't think the Bunnies draw is particularly amazing either. But he's at a nice price when you're looking at some of the guys in the 700s at the moment. That's that extra, 50, 70K. I'm not saying just go in because he's cheaper. Do not do that this stage of the year. Pick your best players. But any guy who has, 400s on the season, I think you got to consider him. I'm certainly looking at him.
I like him too. Moving on to the Warriors take on the Dragons, and we've got Capewell returns, Mitch Barnett returns, and Halasima goes to the bench. Laban stays there. And the Dragons, Tyrell Sloan back into the side.
Yeah, we got a pretty
not much
boring
doing
list.
here, to be honest.
Only thing is that Dallin Vatanis-Zelezniak came back and CNK is in the reserves. So Dallin's gone to his normal right wing and Campierre has held that left wing. Left wingers for the Warriors after their not slow start, but outside of two of us, Shek's first bit of the year where he didn't average much at all, I think in the 50s. They're averaging like 80-something since then. Campierre can find the try line. I'm looking even heavier at him as a pod this week. He's cheaper too in the 500s. So those two guys are the type of guys that I want the way this season's going and this time of year.
I like it. Dogs take on the Tigers. Sean O'Sullivan at 5'8", Crichton at number 23. Kickout returns to number 21. Appy is still out for the Tigers. And Ethan Roberts to the extended bench. Not much doing here, to be honest, Supercoach-wise.
No, but next week, if you're not the guy, and this is my first one of these. I didn't touch on one before. Oren Keeley is named to start for the Storm.
He is named. He's like
I'm happy to have another look at him this week and just see how he goes. He's an alternative to Nikora. But Jacob Preston's 527K. He's got a break even of over 100 this week, 117, I think it is. And he will next week be, even if let's say he hits his break even or around that, has a big week, he'll be in the early 500s. He's averaged 70 on the season if you take out his injury.
Yeah.
He's a downgrade option again. Another one who you can pull out 100. Like, you're not missing much having Couchman or him in the team, but if you can pull out 150K and do it, you're laughing. So I'm actually going to skip Nikora no matter what this week. And if I do a downgrade, it will be
much better timing.
It'll
for
be
someone
Preston
like
next week.
I'm not usually a Preston guy, but like in that scenario, I can understand it.
I don't need to play. And look, if you look at a trade like that in a vacuum of why would you trade Couchman sideways to Preston, I get it. But if I next week can get that extra 100K and I know that guarantees me getting an AJ, or I haven't got Tallis Duncan, he's probably the last piece that I would like to have. If I can get those guys instead of having to settle for, a Katoa or a Mulatalo, who are still good options, but if I had the choice, I'd rather the Rabbitohs boys, even though they're more expensive, and that might be my avenue to it.
I like it. And second last game of the week, Jesus Christ. The Titans take on the Manly Seagulls, and not much is doing here except Ben Trebojevic is out, and Ethan Bullimore comes onto the back edge, back rower. The Titans look all right. I don't mind the Titans. Tino's one.
Yep. He's going, although I don't know what the hell happened on the weekend. He just...
Backing up from Origin.
Yeah, but his PPM was terrible. But anyway, I'll write it off. Keanu Kinney, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, going well.
Flying.
He looks quick.
So many day games. I am very, very keen on someone like him if Melbourne are starting to trickle out and Falunga, well, he's playing mad at the moment, so I don't really want to sell him. But like if Melbourne hit a wall with their halves missing and stuff and Falunga's not kicking goals now, Meany's back. I'm looking at Kinney and Drinky as guys that you could, pod into and take you. Obviously, Teddy's still around as well, and he's much cheaper. But there's a few that fullback. Isn't that fullback position tough at the moment? Like, there's the only standout I've got. I think Pong is a standout, and that's more because how good he is.
Yeah.
Than anything. But I think the rest of the chasing pack, you could go any of them and be happy.
Even Teddy, someone I was so sure about that was going to come back and come good, could even be a sell.
I really think this HIA will be a blessing in disguise for him. Not in this, no one wants to wish a HIA on anyone, but he just looked legless for a while. I think he was expending everything he had in Origin just because his SC performances have been woeful at Clubland. But I think the HIA might have come at a good time for him. Like 2 weeks of pure rest.
Yep.
I think he needed that more than nearly anyone in the comp. And you might find that your patience there may pay off.
And we've seen his Supercoach relevance has coincided with him not playing Origin.
Yep.
So that rest throughout the year has really cost him, and the lack of preseason playing rep footy in the off season. So
No, I think that's.
yeah.
I would look if I owned Teddy, I would be obviously concerned about his performances over the last bit, but I would be expecting a bounce.
All right, and the last game, the Dolphins take on the Cowboys, and the Origin stars are back for the Dolphins. Tom Dearden is on the extended once again. So not much doing here, except I expect a big bounce back from the Dolphins. And I'm looking like captain options. I think Herbie, a lot of people will be off Herbie. I think he's a good shout.
I think he is as well. I think he's probably one of the better shouts this week because I think there's some good matchups in there and there's some good games, but I'm going through my team and do you want to do captains now? Or
we're going to do captains and trades now anyway.
Oh, sweet. So, I genuinely don't know who to captain this week. Olakawatu's been really consistent, but they're not using him. They're not using him and Tommy as much in the last couple of weeks. They've been really targeting the Lehigh Cooler edge, and I just feel like not that their ceiling's capped, but if they're lowering their touch volume, do I really want to captain someone who's not got unlimited touches? Huddy's off an injury. Lucas, I'm not captaining. Nath's obviously a really good option, I think, any given week. Tamari gets the Dragons. That's a fun one. But then I look at Herbie and just go, maybe it's him. Maybe it's just Herbie. Ponga has a tougher matchup at night. I don't see that many clear ones, but I said this last week and then Hines got 190 odd, so maybe I should listen to someone else.
I like Herbie this week as a captain. I think against the Cowboys, he's always absolutely performed. 80, 77, 150 last year in round 15 versus them. Obviously this year against the Cowboys, 80 points. It was at Queensland Country Bank. I just think the bounce back factor is they've lost 2 in a row. Lost against the Knights and lost on the weekend to the Sharks. They've got all their Origin stars back. Katoa's out, which is dangerous for them. But Brad Schneider plays on the right side. I think they'll go more so left with that Cody Nikorima edge. And I like Herbie as a bounce back.
No, I'm fine with it. Look, I thought he would do that
last week,
but that you can just write that completely off. That was just I don't think I've seen that good of a team blown up like that so quickly. That was crazy.
Yeah.
They've been good this year. They've been a top 4 or 5 defense all year. It's also a day game, which is nice, or at least a mid-arvo game or late arvo game. But I think on that note, I'm just going to straight captain Nath. I think I'm going to finally take the straight captain play. I don't like doing that on Thursdays. I know you've done it a couple of times in the past.
I would consider it because he averages 90 versus the Broncos.
I don't have an easy drop this week. My worst player in my eyes this week is either Zarko on that right edge or Finay Filiaki. And I want to play Finay this week. I'm happy. I'm okay dropping him, but up against his old team, bounce back factor against Jeremiah, I reckon he'll come up. I reckon he'll be up for that. I reckon he'll want to have a real go at Nanai. And so I don't really want to drop anyone. And that doesn't even include the fact I'm sitting Young, Marzu, Couchman, Willison, and Paddy. So, I mean, I'm sure my AE is going to be okay, but I've also got Ethan Roberts.
Yep.
And that's made it only clearer to me.
So just pick your best captain.
Normally, I would prefer to VC almost every week, but when it's Nath, I think I'm going to back it.
It's pretty safe as it is.
Yeah, because it's like any other week. If your VC doesn't go that well and then you go, oh, well, I'm captaining this person, they get injured, there's not much difference there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Any captain can get injured on any given week. Yep. And I think I'm just going to do that, I'm just going to back Nath.
I like it. Yep. I like it. I will consider the same thing, to be honest. So Nath loves... Oh, he's at CommBank, but he loves playing the Broncos.
He loves playing the Broncos, but even more so up there, you're right.
So talking trades,
yes.
6. We have 6. I have 6 left. You have 8. Yep. What are you doing?
First one is the easiest trade in the world, Cody Walker to Nath. I've kept money for that for a little bit now. So easy. Don't even have to talk about it. Then I think I'm going to bring in Cam Pereira. And it's not because the Dragons match up. It's because I want a piece of that Warriors left wing. And I just think that I think he'll average 80 plus from here out. I think that I can either go, I can maybe go AJ and Tallis over the next 2 weeks, or I can definitely go, and I don't, the money's going to be really tight, or I can definitely go Calm Prayer and AJ. And I'm just backing wingers from here on out. That doesn't mean, by the way, that I can't get Tallis Duncan. I actually can.
Yep.
It'll just be at some point or down the track. But yeah, I'm really thinking about going Calm Pereira. And I wasn't thinking about that until I saw the Warriors left edge stats. Crazy. But that does include CNK's forfer. So maybe I'll have a quick look at that.
I like it. Don't know if I love it for like a back end, but I think you've got to go these kind of guys.
Yeah.
These kind of guys, especially when they're going to run. It feels like the Warriors are absolutely killing it, and no one's got a part of anything.
Yeah.
So I think the fact that you've got a part of it is a good thing. I'm doing one trade this week, and that's Aramaho to Payne Haas.
Oh, nice. Finally able to do that. You've been sweating on that for a while.
I know.
So
what I did last week, I ended up going I went Jackson Ford to Hudson Young.
Yep.
I was saving Jackson Ford to go straight to Payne Haas,
Yep.
but it just made sense to get an extra number last week and to do that trade then. But Aramaho had the cash there to go straight to Payne Haas. That's all I'm doing. 5 trades left, and we'll see where we go from there.
I like it. The one thing I do have to say with my trades left is I've got both May and Twile in my front row. So in round 23, when they have the bye, I'll either be playing Willison and Ethan Roberts at the moment. So I'll either be playing Willison and taking a free loop, or I'll have to trade into my front row at some point. So I'll preface my 7 or potentially 6 trades remaining if I do the Calm Pereira trade with the fact that I'm leaning towards using that trade for a Keon or someone like that. So
Do you think Payne Haas is a must-have?
I don't. But I do think he's really nice to have. I just don't think that any front row, buying it in the front row is a must.
Because I looked at his scores and like 95 last week. 95 is great.
It's a great score.
It's a great score to have. But I'm just like,
Anyway, if he keeps, as long as the Broncos are in contention,
they'll
he'll
smash
keep playing
him.
80 minutes. I just don't know what happens once they're out, and I believe wholeheartedly that they'll be mathematically out of contention within. Or
2 weeks.
just about within a couple of weeks. And they'll, or at least even if they're not, they'll feel that.
Yep.
And I just wonder if he drops back to 60 or 65 minutes, which wouldn't normally bother me. Last year he played that and he killed it in that time. But that lack of motivation and that edge, I think he's still going to, if he's your front row 3, he's still going to average 70 odd or 80.
He is my front row 3.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you're probably playing him now. Like I'd be playing him.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you've got 3 good front rowers, you can sit him.
Yeah,
if that
I got
happens.
May, Kaloma, Tungi, and Haas.
So you've only got
Actually, I think for me, Aramaho has to go.
No, I like that. I like that. It's just, and for you, it's probably like if your choice in front row at the moment is probably Tino, Haas, and Twile, maybe is that the 3 that I'm not getting Twile. No chance because the Tigers are done basically. And I think Haas is best of the lot there.
I like him.
But I do think everyone needs a third front rower.
Yep.
For depth and also just for the week where Tigers are out. So it's handy.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm trying to I'll avoid trading. If I can get to that round, I know it's the first week of head-to-head finals, and I can escape it without needing if I get a good free loop early in the round or something, I'll just run with the 2 Tigers boys and Willison, and Willison's a fine FR3 for me.
Very fair call. All right. I think we've
covered it all.
Covered quite a bit.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming on.
No, always.
We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Go on, Paddy.
Go on, Paddy. I'm not playing him, so hopefully not.
I'm not playing him, but I can't wait to play him.
Wait. Just before we go, what players are you not playing? So
yes.
I'll go through mine.
Yep.
Owen Paddy. I've still got Kai Pearce-Paul. I'm just waiting to. I can go to Kailero with him, but I don't think it's the right time to do it.
Nope.
I can go to like a someone else. I don't know. I'm not playing Fletcher Sharp. I'm not playing either Ruben Garrick, Val Holmes, or Jermaine Asako.
One of them.
Yes, just one of them.
Yep. Probably. What are you leaning?
I want to play Garrick versus the Titans.
Yeah, definitely. That's an easy one, I think. I think he'll kick this week.
Holmes versus the Warriors.
I think that's the toughest one probably.
Yeah.
But
I think Osako
after last week's hard to
Yeah.
want to play.
Yeah, I think I'll play Osako.
Yeah, I'm doing that as well.
And I'm not playing Setutu or Maxini.
You still got Setu.
Yeah.
What a man. You must be the only bloke in Supercoach still holding Setu too. Are you the only owner of him?
I don't know, but he's still scoring every week, which is amazing.
Yeah, no, I went through. Is that your last?
Yeah, that's.
I think you got plenty of depth there. Clearly, yeah. I went through it a bit earlier, but I'm playing basically. I'd say Zarko over one of the two night swingers. I'm playing Fine Fuiaki over those guys, and also over Couchman, Willison, and Paddy. I have no real feel over what to do with those forwards, boys, except for the fact that Finney's playing his old team, and I think it might give him a bit. And last week might give him a bit of a rev up. He was probably nearly their best player last week. I thought him and Nafahu.
Who's this?
Finney. I thought him and Tavita Nafahu were there too. Like they looked like the only guys out there who were really still giving it a crack at the back end.
Yep.
Far out, these reserves are getting harder. At least next week all the Dolphins are on the bye, and we're going to have less. It's almost like you want less options at the moment.
Yeah, well, that's kind of why I'm not making a second trade because it's like it's not doing it, and I feel like Payne Haas. I need to do that. I don't love my center wings. I don't love all the fullbacks, but I'm also just like, it'll feel more attacking if I hold off on the trades till later.
Yep.
So I like it. All right. We'll see you next week.
That sounds good. Let's chat.
I think that's it.
That's it.
I think that's it. Good luck.
Lucky one.